My brother stole my family business which I inherited. You don't need it, you're a loser," he said. I smiled at him, and a week later when my lawyer called him, my brother begged me. When my father died, I wasn't thinking about the business. I thought about him all the Sundays we spent in the shop, the way he could listen to an engine and know exactly what was wrong with it, the smell of oil that never left his hands. Ryan and I sat through the reading of the will, both expecting the same thing. But then they read my name. The store was mine. Ryan laughed. Not a nervous laugh, not a laugh of disbelief. It was an evil laugh. A cold laugh. Like he thought the whole thing was ridiculous. "You don't need this," he said, shaking his head. "You're a failure." I didn't argue. I didn't tell him that I had worked in that shop for years, learning from my father in my own way. I just smiled. 2 days later I found out that he had already changed the locks. I walked in and my key didn't fit. The sign on the door had our family name on it, but they wouldn't let me in. Ryan stood at the window with his arms crossed and looked at me. He didn't even bother to come out. That was his mistake. I didn't knock on the door. I didn't yell. I just walked away. A week later my lawyer called him. And Ryan? Ryan begged me. I never went back to the store after that. I didn't have to. Ryan thought throwing me out the door would be the end of it, that I would just get over it. But he didn't understand something. I wasn't a father. I wasn't going to fight him like my dad did, yelling at him in the office about responsibility and respect. I did something else. First I called my lawyer. I explained the situation. He asked me one question. Do you want the store back or do you want him to regret ever touching it? I said I wanted both. Ryan rushed to take over, but he wasn't as smart as he thought he was. The company was mine legally, financially, on paper, in every way. All I had to do was let him dig his own grave. So I waited. And Ryan did exactly what I expected him to do. He changed his name on the invoices, redirected payments to his account, and continued to run the store as if he owned it. He even called our regular suppliers and told them I was off the grid. He couldn't even do it carefully, he was so desperate to prove something. That was mistake number 2. Because what is all this? A fraud. A week after he kicked me out the door, he got a call from my lawyer. And that's when Ryan started begging. Ryan thought he could steal the store and no one would have a problem with him. Maybe he thought I was too weak to fight back, or maybe he just thought he was untouchable. Either way, when my lawyer called, reality hit him head on. Legally, everything he was doing, changing locks, taking money, running the store in his own name, was fraud. The store was in my name, the bills were in my name, the lease was in my name. Ryan was not the owner. He was invading someone else's territory. At first he acted harshly. He told my lawyer to go to hell, said it was a family matter, and that I wouldn't do anything. But when did he realize that this was not just a warning? That's when he started to panic. He called me. I put it on voicemail. Then he texted, "Come on, man. We'll figure something out." I didn't answer. Then another message. "Lawyers? Seriously? You couldn't just talk to me?" I still ignored him. The next morning he was no longer angry. He was desperate. "Archie, please. Just talk to me. We can figure this out." I knew exactly what was going on. He realized he could lose everything. That his accounts were in jeopardy, that his suppliers could cut him off, that he could even be indicted. And you know what's interesting? I didn't even do anything. I just let him go through it. Then 2 days later I got a message that made me laugh. "I fucked up. Just tell me what you want." I let Ryan sweat it out for another day. Not out of spite, well, maybe a little, but because I wanted him to feel it. I realized he was out of control. Finally I called him back. He answered on the first ring. "Archie, man, listen." I cut him off. "You stole from me." Silence. For the first time he didn't have a pretentious answer. "You stole from me," I repeated. "Now you're going to pay for it." "Come on," he said, his voice different now, softer. "This is a family business. You wouldn't be here without me." I kept it afloat. I did all the work. I always had to take responsibility. "You thought you had to," I corrected him. "But Dad didn't. He left it to me. And instead of respecting that, you tried to take it away by force. That's not the way to do it." He sighed shakily. "So, what do you want?" I had already made up my mind. He would never get the shop back, not after what he had done. But I didn't want to spend months in court either. I wanted him gone. Clean. Without a trace. No loopholes. "You're going to sign everything," I said. "Client invoices, vendor agreements, contracts. You tried to change everything. Then you will leave. And I never want to see your face again." "And if I don't leave? Then my lawyer will file fraud charges. And since you've been diverting payments to yourself, we both know how that will end." Silence again. Longer this time. Then finally, when do I sign? Ryan agreed to sign, but I knew him too well to think he would go through with it without doing something wrong. He'd spent his whole life trying to be in charge, and now he was being pushed out like a thief. He could not take it quietly. Sure enough, the night before our scheduled meeting with the lawyer, I got a tip from one of the guys at the store. Archie, you might want to come over here. Ryan's loading something into the truck. I didn't even ask what it was. I already knew. He was trying to get what he could before he lost everything. I went over there without saying a word to him. I just parked across the street and watched. Ryan and two of his buddies were loading expensive tools, boxes of spare parts, even some of the shop's computers into the back of an old pickup truck. He wasn't just trying to cut his losses, he was looting the place on his way out. I could have called the police. I could have gone in there and stopped him myself. But I didn't. Instead, I took out my cell phone and recorded the whole thing. The next morning, when he walked into the lawyer's office, I put my phone on the desk and pressed play. Ryan's face paled. You really don't know when to stop, do you? I said. First you stole the store. Now you're trying to rob it. He opened his mouth and closed it. He had nothing to say. You will sign the papers, I continued, and return everything you took. If even one key is missing, I will press charges. Ryan swallowed hard and nodded. And just like that, he was out of options. Ryan signed the papers. He had no choice. He was boxed in, and for the first time in his life, he knew it. My lawyer made sure that every detail was airtight, no loopholes, no way for him to sneak back in. The company was officially, completely mine. But I wasn't done with him. After he signed, I told him, you have 24 hours to return everything you took. After that, I'm going to sue him. At first he acted like he could fight back. He shrugged, exhaled through his nose, like he was still trying to hold on to some pride. But then I replayed the video of him loading the stolen equipment into his truck. I didn't even have to say anything. He just got up and walked away. The next day he was back. Not because he wanted to do the right thing, but because he was afraid of what would happen if he didn't. My guys at the store told me that he came in alone and unloaded boxes as fast as he could, looking over his shoulder as if he thought I might be watching. I wasn't watching. I didn't need to. He had already lost. A few days later, I heard from mutual friends that Ryan was trying to escape. Without the store, he had nothing, no income, no backup plan. He was so sure of his victory that he never thought about what losing would look like. And now, he was desperate. I could have helped him. I could have given him a job, let him stay involved in something. But he made his choice, and I finally got tired of cleaning up after him. After that, Ryan disappeared. Not literally, he was still in town, still trying to find a way to get back on his feet, but as far as I was concerned, he was gone. He didn't have the store, he didn't have control, and most importantly, I wasn't cleaning up after him anymore. I went back to work. The first thing I did was change the locks again just in case. Then I made some real changes. I fixed the damage Ryan had done, contacted the customers he had tried to rip off, made sure every vendor knew I was now in charge. It took time, but it was worth it. It took time, but it was worth it. And Ryan? I ran into him at a gas station a few months later. He looked different, thinner, more tired. He didn't have that confident look anymore. For a second it looked like he wanted to say something. Maybe an apology. Maybe an excuse. But in the end he just nodded and walked past me. That was the moment I realized he had really lost. Not just the business, not just the money, but also the power he had always tried to have over me. I rebuilt this store out of the mess he left behind. And every time I looked at it, I didn't see what he tried to take from me. I saw what I was giving back.